So you and I both know, obviously, email is critical. Like, you're going to use email, you're going to use the phone, you're going to use all of these different methods. Emailing the right way, though, doing outreach the right way, though, that's continuing to evolve. And over the past couple weeks, I've been at different conferences, gaining new insights and ideas. And my guest today, he and I was just jamming at a happy hour, and it turned out to be an episode. You're going to love the state of outreach right now. Ooh-wee! Hey, everyone. Welcome to another great episode of the Sales Evangelist Podcast. I'm your host, Donald C. Kelly, the Sales Evangelist. And I'm so excited for another great episode. I'm so excited to be here with you today. And I'm coming to you live from my hotel. Well, not necessarily live, but I'm chilling in my hotel, having breakfast. And I'm doing this episode on the road. Now, the other day, I had an opportunity to sit down with Tom Slocum. And you and I, you've listened to an episode with him, with him on a panel with me. This was like a couple of months ago. Tom knows a lot about outreach. He does a lot when it comes to helping sales reps with top of the funnel and organizations. And you can find more information about him and connect with him on LinkedIn for sure. But Tom and I were talking about some of the things that he's learning. He's been at conferences over the past couple of weeks, just like I've been. And I wanted to get from him, someone who's deep in the outreach space as well, what's working right now, what has changed, what's evolving. And it came up with this episode. It was supposed to be like 3 minutes, turned out to be like 20 minutes. So I hope you enjoy it. It was live, it was raw, and it was fun. Now, if this is your first time listening to this podcast or watching one of our videos, the podcast is designed to do two things. One, help you to 3 to 5x your sales pipeline, and 2, help you to double sales. Close twice as many deals as you've done before. And we do this through our content, we do this through our workshops, we do this through our master classes, and all the fun stuff that come along with that in our training programs. You can go ahead and connect with me as well. Now, as we dive in, listen to what he shares, take advantage of it, and apply it. You're going to love it. Not Mark Benioff, with Tom.
Hey!
So Tom and I, as you know, we were on a podcast together, and we were talking about the campaign that we did with
Outlook. Vanilla Soft.
Yep. On emails, write emails in 3 minutes.
Yep.
So one of the things I want to talk about, you've been here this year at at Dreamforce, and you're here at LinkedIn. What are some of the things that you're seeing right now when it comes towards content, like as far as emails, or when it comes to the sales approach via email? Anything new that you're seeing, any trends or strategies that you're thinking that we need to take advantage of or improve on as a seller?
There's a lot. I was at SaaStr last week, and I even made a post on this. The event follow-up game is so dropped, right? It's missed opportunities, and people aren't finding a way to connect with people via email. It's a lot to break through the noise. And I like memes and GIFs are becoming a thing. It's really cool because you're able to
go deeper into that. What do you mean? Deeper.
You're able to take a complex concept and bring it down into a visual that makes it relevant to the reader. So last year or a few years ago during COVID, the crane photo that went around, right, where everybody was the crane got stuck in a canal. People were saying, "Oh, is that what your inbox is like?" And it made people laugh. It made an emotional pool, and it took a complex issue and bring it down. And so people are using those with modern pop culture events, and it's just letting people feel human. And I think that's what's missing in email is people aren't showing up human enough in what they're writing. It's templated, it's overwhelming with novel, and they're just missing that mark. And so memes and GIFs have kind of allowed them to be seen, bring a laugh, and then they just make a deep relationship with that prospect from there.
And I think that you said something there as the human aspect, it's humanizing now, where if I can relate to the meme, or if it's a pop culture thing. The one I think about right now that's trending is a cat on TikTok and on Instagram. You can probably find so many things you can relate to that. But if I got an email with something that's relevant to my role, I would probably be endeared to that seller, at least to respond or to communicate, right?
That's it, right? You're okay because they were creative. I think that's where people are missing is people are not getting creative. They're limited by their leaders. They're just cutting out messaging that's just text. And it's just like when we post on LinkedIn. Now you see even LinkedIn, when you put a visual to the text post, it's 10x, right? Mm-hmm. Because you connect in a different way. And so using those visuals, trying to find ways to get creative, just bring that human element and shows that you took a little bit of effort versus this text post or this novel email that was just my value prop, all about me, and sent to 500 other people.
So then you go back to this now. That's not scalable though.
No.
Like, how do you scale that? I think we had a little combo on that. So 2 parts to this. How do you best scale that? And then how do you think of the creativity enough? Because sometimes I know somebody's watching this and probably like, I'm not that creative. So start off with scaling and then, or whatever one you want to answer first, and then creativity. How do I make it creative?
Yeah. I mean, I deal with it, right? And so my favorite way to look at it is you don't have to personalize to everybody. You don't have to get super granular with everybody. It's all about bucketing. It's always about prioritizing where that attention should really go. And when you think at the top of the funnel, you need 12 to 20 meetings a month. You don't need to be sending 10,000 emails to get there if you're actually being very targeted. So you look at your major accounts that are perfectly fit for you and then bucket from there. So when you hit like tier 4, lower in the system, okay, those could be templated. I don't really need to put a lot of time there. Everybody thinks they have to personalize everything, and you don't. So bucket, tier, really identify your buyer personas, and really put time well spent to get 12 meetings. You know, when you're really being targeted like a missile instead of like a cannonball, just firing off the cannon like and just booms. Be a targeted heat-seeking missile and really dive in. And then when it comes to the creativity, like I have a hard time. I'm not the craziest. I'm not like always there. But you're just trying to find a way to just strike a chord with this person in a way that's just different. Everyone's doing the same thing, and it's kind of the Josh Braun and some of the approaches of how do I be a blue X in a sea of red circles, right? So everybody's sending this way. How can I take that same message but apply something different to it? A video method. Voice memos are super great. They're different. You can't scale those. It's still the authenticity of your voice, the context. And so everybody's going left, you go right, and just find a way to just be different and strike something inside that person. So when they read it, they're like, whoa, this isn't what I expected, and I get it. And just because you took that extra step, I will give you that meeting just because you showed me you gave a crap, right? Yeah. Versus just, I'm just another bucket. Because that prospect's going to email you back and be like, and call you out, and you don't have an answer.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, tell me about me. And you're like, my boss told me to email you. But when you're creative and you find these ways to be like, maybe looking through their content, finding something that somebody else wouldn't normally bring up. And now with AI, right? We've been at a conference super heavy in AI. It's doing that heavy lifting for you on those very high-end targeted prospects that are all over the internet. So you can go way left field and be like, yo, Donald's into soccer on his Instagram out of nowhere. I can make a play with soccer or give him a funny Ronaldo meme or something.
That's what I was going to say, yeah.
And then he's like, yo, this is different. You've got my attention. Let's have that meeting.
And then now if you really want to get my attention, and I'm from South Florida, you should go ahead and get a Messi meme being in Inter Miami.
I mean, it's a layup. It's a layup, right? And so just like Messi having to make a difficult decision to leave a long-term brand and go to a competitor, how have you felt when evaluating options?
Oh my goodness. If you all don't take that and use it, then you're not paying attention.
But that's it. That's that creativity of just how do I take it to the next step and like make it relevant? Because
that's the key.
It's the relevancy. Personalization is not personalization.
Thank you.
It's not about college. It's not all of these things. It's taking those things and finding a way to make it relevant and not coming out of left field. Yeah. Oh, I saw your podcast. I loved it. And then next thing you know, you're dropping your value prop. It doesn't even tie in, right? So just find that relevancy, and that's all people care about. Just show me you give a shit. Yeah. And you're not just out here running through your numbers. You actually are looking at me because you really do think I'm a fit for what you're offering and that you could potentially help me.
Oh my goodness. Bro, this was like straight up. We're going to start charging for this stuff because it was so good. Now, last question I got for you. Management, because we talked a lot about creativity today. We talked a lot about standing out. We talked about scaling. We talked about relevancy. I'm going to make a shirt relevancy. That's my favorite word, man. But when it comes towards I think you mentioned it, but I want to flush it out a little more because management's listening to this.
Yeah.
And then they're like, yeah, I just don't have my team at that time. The numbers don't lie. If I haven't pulled out 5,000 emails, I know I'm going to get some appointments from that. But it's like we're racing to the bottom with when you're price warring.
Yeah.
This is going to be not working. It's like fossil fuel. We know we're going to run out eventually, so we can't depend on it forever. We got to be able to start doing something else. With that being said, is the method then to best do that where you say to having the tiers, because we can scale in that way. Then I can personalize my tier 1s and 2s, but then maybe my 4.
Looser, you get looser. Yeah.
So is that what you would say to management to allow them to still let their team have a level of complexity? I mean, have fun with this?
Yeah, there's two things, right? The bucketing and the tiering make the most sense. You've got, depending on your TAM, you've got 3,000 accounts as an SDR. The leader should be showing them where to actually target or work with their AE and find out and vet out those buckets, right? And then every day, first thing in the morning, you're hitting your tier 1s, your tier 2s. Then you can rip through the rest so you can hit your volume, try to figure out what's coming through, right? And the second piece is like you can create micro environments. So if you don't want to disrupt your whole team and have everybody thrown out the game, empower your team leads, or you test the theory and then roll it out to your team and not waste that time. That is the volume game, all of that. But it's like, hey, team leads, let's try the meme GIF thing. I want you for the next week to just pilot this for me while the rest of the team is holding down the fort. You try this out. Or just go hit the tier 1s this week and let me know what we can pull and if that has any damage. And now the whole team's not switching it up.
Yeah.
Because when the whole team switches it up, it's scary.
Yeah.
You're like, yo, I got to hit my quota as a team. And like, I get it, bosses. Like, that's scary. So just pick your vets and let them kind of play with some things and then roll it out once you kind of see if it's working or not.
And I think a critical component to that too is the evaluation of it, right?
Yeah.
So we can come back together and huddle, be like, what worked this week? All 5 of you did stuff, and this is how
feedback loops are everything. That's where people miss. You got to have feedback loops of what's moving, give that information very fast, very quick, and be willing to let these people have the breathing room to try these things. And honestly, give it time. That's where you all suffer because you're all racing to this thing. It does take a minute. Don't do 20 of them and be like, oh, we got nothing from it. It's over. Go back to what you were doing. Give it like a minimum of 100 accounts or 100 pieces to really see that data and then go from there.
AI. You mentioned it. We'll end here because I know I said we we're going to end there, but you're learning so much about AI right now. You're seeing so much content on it. I want to peep into what you're doing. How are you right now implementing it, or what's your plan over the next 6 months to a year to bring AI into your world?
So there's a couple things. AI can be your friend. It does remove human error, right? That's a big part, is it has the data. It's able to scrub thousands of things. So for me right now, I'm using it at a very high level for personalization and relevancy with some of those higher end targets because they have content everywhere. They're able to digest it.
Give me an example while you're doing that.
Okay, so like John Burroughs. Okay, we all know John, Sell Better, all of that. He's got content all over the place. So AI can literally, hey, I want to reach out to John Burroughs around the SD Lab and what I'm doing. What is his priorities right now? And what are some things he's been recently talking about on podcasts? Within a few minutes, it's going to tell me bing, 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 bing. Now I can get creative and find my way in and say, hey, saw your podcast you just did on this. How is that something you're diving into right now? I think the SD Lab could be of help for you there, right? Something of that nature. So personalization, scaling that step is so much better than what we all had to do back in the grind, where I had to do that stuff all manually. Researching took, you guys don't know, it took minutes, time, and now it's at the click of a button, and it's not going to be perfect, but you have something. The other thing is like working smarter, not harder. We're all trying to do more with less. Everybody's looking to scale back, try to double down on things, and AI is able to speed that stuff up, right? Remove roadblocks that you're not used to in calculating the best way to focus your time on your calendar. You plug in an AI on your calendar, it's going to show you where to prioritize, where things can be moved to where you're at your best optimization, because that's all what we all want is you have 6 hours a day to prospect, top of funnel, AE has to close. Use that time to do that job. Why be dealing with all this minutia when the AI can lean into it? And so leaders just need to be evaluating it, having a pulse on it, looking at it. You don't got to jump on everything, but look at the data, right? Do you know where your churn rate is at? Or what customers are the most likely to close with you? The AI will scrub your last 3 quarters and give you bullets as to what you should be looking for. Now you insert the personalization and the relevancy and those bucketing. Now you can really turn it up.
Yeah.
So in that 6 hours you're prospecting, you're pulling out 5 meetings in that time versus 1 every other day.
Bro, if you're pulling out 5 meetings doing something like that, your team will be
you're tearing it up.
Yeah. And that's so, enhancing our abilities, right?
That's it. It's like a superpower if you know how to use it. And I think that's the leadership job. Go dive in and then show your team how you did it first.
Yeah.
Don't make them go do it. What else are you doing, right? Like, test things, try things, go do your own pipeline, go into the funnel with them, into the trenches and say, hey, where are you guys at with this? Or what I like to do is you guys can do ride-alongs. I love ride-alongs. And so jump on for an hour with your rep, Zoom or in person. Don't say a word. Just sit in the back end, take notes, and let them do what they do. Promise you're going to find one or two things where they're getting snagged in that you didn't even see. Now you can go find the actual tools that are relevant and be like, I didn't know you guys, wait, is that just you or is that everybody?
Yeah.
Now you see the whole team's been running like that and you're like, I didn't know. Let me go find the tool to amplify that. And you just freed them up. And they're like, that's what I've been waiting for.
John Barrows came on a show not too long ago, and one of the things, like a few weeks ago, and one of the things John talked about, obviously, John is deep on AI right now. He mentioned the, back in the days, you had the, forgot what it's called, like almost like LAN parties,
Yeah.
where people get together and they did blah, blah, blah. He was saying doing that for sales. So you get the team together, maybe it's like, maybe you get them pizza or whatever you do, but you have your team get together and have them kind of discuss and share what they're doing from some of the things. Maybe one of them found an app on TikTok, or they found this tool they're using. What are some of the we're in the, outline the whole sales process, like the journey, and then identify where could we use AI, and then have everybody just like source fill in where they're using it, or what ideas they can find, and you'll be amazed that they'll come with some stuff to the table, and then you can probably bring the leaders in to go test out them now, run the motion, because they're already doing it. They're already doing some of those things already.
There's no collaboration within teams, and it's sad to see, right? I consult clients and their teams, and I've helped teams bond better than they ever have because they just started talking to each other, and they're like, wait, Donald, you've been doing that? And it's like, I didn't know, because people get egos, okay? And I've been on teams where that person's constantly dropping in Slack everything they're doing, and you get that vibe of like, all right, cool. But you do need to be collaborating. And so managers, put your team in a room, let them go through the sales process and hash it out, and you leave the room. Leave the room.
That's a very interesting part.
Let them be open. Let them collab and talk about it. Maybe they give them a specific task of, I want you all to talk about, here's a profile. I'm going to give you a profile on LinkedIn. I want you all for the next 5 minutes to write an email to this person quietly. And then when that's done, have them all pull it up on a screen and 3 or 4 of them share and watch how they think differently. See what you're seeing. And they're like, I didn't even look at it that way, John. Like, whoa. Or Sarah, I didn't know. That was way next level. Now they're amplifying each other. They're lifting up each other. And now they want to work and go to war together because they're in it. They're sharing, they're collaborating, and they're uncovering each other to where they can actually not trip up every day and find success within there. That's a great example.
Money in the bank. Money in the bank. Listen, Tom, so many amazing stuff here. I want you to go back over here by the LinkedIn sign, because I want you all to see this. Tom is one of the new insiders with LinkedIn. So please give him a shout out. You can find his information in the show notes below. But tell him, obviously, that you found him here on the Sales Evangelist. So, Tom, where can people find you, though?
Yeah, bring the relevancy, please. I'm giving you the free content. Like, you see it.
The email should be like, you're inside as well? ...
Oh, guys, this is going to get a paywall up real fast. But look for me on LinkedIn. That's where I live. Tom Slocum, got a fire emoji. Drop me a voice note, and I will get right back to you, and we can talk. But you can find me there, and I'm happy to jam with you anytime.
Tom, thanks for coming on the show, man.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for having me.
Didn't I tell you that was going to be good? That was Tom Slocum. Go ahead and connect with him. We have his information down in the show notes, so you can tell him that you heard him here on the Sales Evangelist podcast. Now, I want to also challenge you as well. I want you to look at the way that you're doing outreach. Is there anything that has changed? Is there anything that you can do better? And if there is, what is that one thing that you learned that you're going to do better? Go ahead and drop me a message on LinkedIn, Donald C. Kelly, Donald C. Kelly, Donald C. Kelly. Drop me a message. Don't just follow. Connect with me and send me a message, or just drop me a DM and tell me that one thing that you took that you're going to apply that's going to help you in your outreach this year. Speaking about outreach, now that you're booking a lot of appointments, make sure you're checking out some of these sponsors, right? As you can see here, folks over at Calendly really love their tool. It helps a lot with our team, and having the round robin feature is critical. Now you have some ways that you can do like workflows and help that process and make sure people are showing up to your appointments. Like you work so hard to get the darn appointment. Now let's do all you can to make sure you keep the appointment. If you have not done so already, go ahead, check out some of our sponsors. Make sure to connect with me on LinkedIn. As always, we want to help you to 3 to 5x your sales pipeline. We want to help you to close twice as many deals as you did last year. And most importantly, we want you to raise your level of thinking and go out and do big things. Thanks so much for watching.